Okay, hello. Thank you for joining us for today's live presentation. My name is Greg Lewis. I'm the marketing manager here at MetaStock, and we really just are glad you're here. If you haven't heard of MetaStock, that's okay, because I've got a little video right here I'm going to play right now, and our main presentation will start in about 9 minutes. So get comfortable, grab a coffee, an adult beverage, whatever you're into, and we'll see you in just a minute. Hi there, Greg Lewis, MetaStock Software. As the marketing director, I get asked all the time, what is MetaStock? How can I help my trades? Well, stick around for about 3 minutes and I'll tell you. MetaStock is an award-winning software and data package that has been helping traders for over 35 years. Simply put, MetaStock is a tool for traders like you to analyze the markets. MetaStock helps you take the guesswork out of trading by offering a methodical, systematic approach to some key questions all traders come up against. Questions like, how do I decide which securities to trade when there are literally thousands to choose from? Which strategy should I use, and how do I test that strategy before spending my first trading dollar? When should I enter and exit a trade? How can I effectively manage the securities I'm interested in? And of course, how do I know where prices will go next? At the core of MetaStock are the Power Tools. The Power Tools give professional-grade analysis tools to private traders like you and me. You can scan the market with the MetaStock Explorer to filter and sort securities that show buy and sell signals based on your criteria. The MetaStock System Tester lets you test most strategies through a process called backtesting, which allows you to see how your strategy would have performed over time. You can easily manage and monitor the securities you are interested in with Quote Center. Quote Center lets you sort on a variety of criteria to view the data that's important to you. Then just double-click on a security if you want to see its chart. With the MetaStock Forecaster, you can even take advantage of patented technology to view probable future prices. If you're an options trader, you're going to love MetaStock's OptionScope. OptionScope puts all the critical info at your fingertips, displaying sortable, customizable, color-coded options data, including the Greeks. And MetaStock has solutions for traders of all levels and interests. If you're just getting into trading, you will appreciate the education offered by our many built-in systems. In addition to pointing out buy and sell signals, MetaStock explains how they work in an easy-to-follow commentary window. MetaStock has built-in systems based on popular strategies like MACD, Bollinger Bands, turtle trading, candlesticks, and many more. MetaStock even has the very popular and exclusive Rahul Mohindar Oscillator System, or simply known as the RMO. And as you become a more experienced trader, MetaStock grows with you. Advanced analysts will enjoy the comprehensive list of trading systems and indicators, and the ability to build their own systems. And if you're a day trader, you can't do better than Zenith, the real-time news, data, and analysis package offered by Refinitiv, a world leader in market data. Add on the world-class support, and it's not hard to see why MetaStock has won the Stocks and Commodities Reader's Choice Award for 26 consecutive years. To find out more about MetaStock and how it can help your trading, visit metastock.com or contact a product professional via phone, email, or chat. Okay, did that answer all your questions about MetaStock? If not, don't worry, because just in 5 minutes and 16 seconds, David Derricott, one of our product professionals, will be here. He'll be talking about the Victory MetaStock add-on by, I cannot think of his name for the life of me right now. Never forgot his name, but now I can't think of it. Anyway, and he'll answer any questions you have about MetaStock or trading, and especially about the add-on that he's going to be talking about today. He is David Derricott. He's been with the company just about 2 months longer than me, for about 15 and a half years, and he'll be coming up here in about 4 minutes. I don't see him in his chair yet, but I'm assuming he will be here. Hello, Vincenzo. Thank you for joining us from Italy today. Hey, like Vincenzo, as you're coming on, go ahead and say hello. We always enjoy it. What we're doing right now is what we call the pre-broadcast, and this just gives people a chance to sort of get in here and sit down and relax and not miss anything. So we start about 10 minutes early. If you're watching this live, again, we'll be starting in about 4 minutes. If you're watching this recorded and I haven't yet edited out this front 10 minutes, you can just slide right down the slider and fast forward past it. I'm not going to say anything that's pertinent to the discussion today, other than welcoming you, encouraging you to chat, encouraging you to like and subscribe. And Chenzo. And also, what else was I going to say? Oh, and upcoming stuff. So there goes Dave. Okay. So upcoming stuff. In February 27th, we have the Traders Summit. If you want to register for that now, the speakers will be announced early next week, but you can still register for it right now. And you go to metastock.com traders-summit to do that. Also, tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Time, Anne-Marie Bain will be our speaker at the weekly market recap, and we would really like to have you there. Okay, I'm going to go and mute myself right now and make sure that David is set up in the next room in our studio, and we'll see you in just a bit. We got about 1 more minute. Dave looks to be all ready. Dave actually today is coming right next door from the studio. Dave Derricott. I'm coming at you from here in the control room, right next door to the studio. We don't have a guest presenter outside of the company today, which is fortunate. It makes my job a little easier. It means I'm not having to pull somebody in from another area, trying to mesh it all and make it work. So anyway, thank you all again for attending. Hello again, Vincenzo. Hey, why isn't nobody saying hello? Make sure you say hello. Today, in today's presentation, if you have any questions, chat them into, we're simulcasting on GoToWebinar and on YouTube. And if you have questions on the YouTube side, make sure you chat them in. I'll ask them to Dave as he does Q&As. And he's very good about answering questions, so please don't hesitate to ask questions. And okay, let's get this show on the road. Okay, Dave, we are live. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep, I can hear you just fine.
And we can hear you. How fortunate is
Okay,
that?
cool. Awesome.
Hey, thank you everyone for joining. I'm going to take my headset off because I can hear myself talking and it's driving me crazy. I'll just try to put it on one ear. How's that? Thanks so much everyone for joining us today. We are MetaStock, and if you have any questions about MetaStock, for gosh sakes, ask Dave because he knows an awful lot about it. Trading generally as well. Dave Derricott's been here 1 or 2 months longer than me, right, Dave?
Yep.
And that puts him out at about 15 and a half years. So he's been around a while. I have to say the average tenure here at MetaStock is really long, and that's simple because once somebody works here and gets to know the product, gets to know the customers, and gets to know the coworkers, they tend to stay. And David's a good example of that. In fact, Dave here is our most senior sales representative right now. So he's a good family man. He's a good guy. I know you're going to like his presentation. Dave, have I missed anything?
Nope.
All right. And I shall give you the floor. Don't forget to do the disclosure because I didn't do it. I should have done it maybe before.
Oh, I thought you were going to do it. I got to make sure I have it. Okay,
there it is. Yeah, you got it. Thanks, Dave.
Okay.
Break a leg.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Like Greg said, my name is Dave Derricott. I have been with the company for 15 and a half years, and I am one of the longest sales reps here. So I'm really enjoy working here. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, let's just dive into it. First, we got to read the disclaimer. The demonstration today is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock tools and add-ons and accompanying software plugins, and is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of their software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. The one below is actually a CFTC Rule 401 about options. I don't have to actually go through and read all of that. But just basically, you take your own risk when you're trading, and we're showing you how to use the tools, but we're not giving you recommendations to buy or sell. So with that being said, let's dive right in. Today, I'm actually going to back up a tiny bit. Today, we are going to talk about one of our newest add-ons that has been just released, I think, for about 2 or 3 months. It's been very well received. People are having some great success with it. It's called Victory. He actually has, I believe, 3 other add-ons. We used to sell a lot of his, we still sell a lot of it, but another popular one is the Veracity. And he wanted to create this one based on how the market has been performing in the last year due to the virus happening, and how to really trade through trade with the pandemic and make some money still with trading. Even though the market has fallen, it is coming back and gaining some momentum. But he's based it on completely different methods from his previous add-ons. Like I said, the previous one was the Veracity add-on, but he really kind of wanted to make it so it's a little better reacting for today's markets. And so that's what I'm going to go in and show you. And the person, if this is kind of your first webinar or new to the add-on of the Victory method, the person that actually created his name is Vince Bora. I'm actually going to read a bio from him. He's a senior trader at tradingwins.com. Over the last 3 decades, he's been trading professionally and developing his trading systems that are based on technical analysis and practice action. Over the last few years, his focus has been on teaching people how to become better traders. Vora's systems range from simple to sophisticated and can be used in any market conditions to trade stocks, options, futures, forex, indices, whatever you want to trade. And the other thing that's really nice with it too is you can use it with any market. And what I mean by that is if you don't trade in the US markets, you trade in the Asian markets or the Australian markets, or you're trading Hong Kong, or you're trading the European areas. It works with any market. Obviously, sometimes it may work a little better in one market versus the other, but it can use it with any market. With that being said, I'm going to dive right into MetaStock. I'm not a type of person that wants to stay much in the PowerPoint, so let's just go ahead and dive right into it. I'm going to kind of show you a couple things within MetaStock for those of you that this might be your first webinar. So when you open up MetaStock for the first time, you come to this Power Console, and if you want to open up any symbol, you can either just type it in. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in, let's just do Amazon. And then I can go ahead and just come over here and click on Open Chart. The other thing, I always like to show this to everybody so you know how there's a couple ways of doing the same thing in MetaStock. Let's say you have a list set up like I do here with my S&P, and I just want to open up one of these stocks. Actually, I'm going to open up the online data, not that one. So I just want to open up, let's say, like an ETF. I can actually come in here and just click all the boxes that I want to open of the stocks that I want to open, in this case, the ETFs. And then I just click on Open Chart. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to go in and type in this symbol manually because I already know what that is. I don't need to go look for it. And again, for those of you that either have MetaStock or do not, you probably may wonder why I'm putting a .o on the end of Amazon. It's because that is the one that's traded on the NASDAQ. As you well know, that stocks will trade across different exchanges, and so we want to make sure that I'm choosing the US one. So let's also do Apple, and then let's just do IBM. Okay, and then the way you can access the Victory system, I'm going to open up a clean chart because I want to show you different ways of doing the same thing basically. So inside of the Power Console over here on the right side, I can go ahead and just click on this drop-down menu. And then I've got all the templates that I have loaded on my MetaStock. So that's one way of doing it. What I'm going to actually do, I'm going to load a clean template right here. And this is basically just a bar chart and nothing on the chart itself. I want to just show you, for those of you that may not be using MetaStock, how you can apply indicators and things like that. And then we'll dive right into the Victory system. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Open Chart. You can see it opens up pretty quickly. And then over here on the bottom right corner, I can click on these little zoom in and outs. And then if I want to plot some indicators, we have this big long list of indicators through our indicator quick lists. So if I just click on that, MetaStock actually saves the last 20, I believe it's the last 20 indicators that I had applied to the chart. So if you're a MACD guy and you want to apply the MACD, is drag and drop it on the chart. You notice how the mouse turns into a hand. I just hold down my left mouse button, and I can just drag and drop it on the chart. And then I can just, if I want to make the lines a little thicker, I'm just going to leave it at the default for this scenario, for this demonstration. Oops, messed up on the scale there. Okay. And then same thing, if I want to apply like a moving average, just drag and drop it on the chart. We'll change it to, yep. And then a lot of people like to trade candlesticks. I'm a candlestick guy, so I always like to change these two candlesticks. So I can just double click here on any of the price bars. And then you get this drop down menu, and you can do candlesticks, and then you click OK. Then you can apply this. So every time that you open up any chart, it opens up this way. It's kind of a trick in MetaStock. A lot of people always ask me that question. So I always like to show it, even though today we are showcasing the Victory add-on. But I do want to show just some little things in the beginning of little questions that I've always get, kind of like little tips in MetaStock. So if you want to save your chart settings, you can right click on the chart and choose save as a default template. I'm not going to do that right now, but if I did, then every chart that I opened up hereafter would open up that way with candlesticks and then my moving average attached. So with that being said, what I'm going to do now is we're going to dive right into the Victory method. The way you access it, if you already had a chart open in this case, I will right click on it with my mouse, and then I'll go up to apply template. And then there's a big list of this on this. What you can do, if you have a ton of templates in here, you just click on the first one and then just hit V for the Victory, and then it takes you right down to the bottom of the list. And then I can just go ahead and double click here. I'm not going to save changes, and we'll open it up. Okay, so the way this works, it's a very simple trading system. He uses just a plain 20 period simple moving average. So it's nothing really spectacular as far as the indicator goes. But as you can tell on the chart, if anybody, I'm going to back up here for just a second. If anybody has ever used his Veracity system or any of his other systems, he does what he calls a pre-setup, or basically a pre-entry to the trade, and then you have to wait until the price hits a certain point, and then it'll get you into the trade. Whereas Victory gets you right into the trade immediately, as you can tell. I'm going to go ahead and actually change these two candlesticks. A lot of people always ask me, can you do any kind of charting style? Well, you can. I'm a candlestick guy, like I already mentioned. But if you come down here, he also has this really detailed commentary window on the left side, as you can see. And that can actually be a floating window if you want, or I just like to attach it to the left side. It's just the way I like to use MetaStock. You can attach it to the right or have it as a floating window. Whatever you want to do as far as that goes is up to you. So if you look at this last big trade right here, this one, it caught it. I mean, almost, I would say perfectly. I mean, especially this part right here. This one, obviously not so much, but this, I mean, it got you right in on, this is back in April of last year. It's a perfect example of how well Victory can catch these trades. So it got you right in on here, and then it took you all the way through that bull trade up until the July 22nd. So, you know, if you had $500 on that trade, you would have made quite a bit of money as far as that move goes. And it also is really nice because he does, let me kind of zoom in here a little bit more, because he does put these exit indicators on the chart as well. So you know exactly where you should be getting in and getting out. This one particularly, if you kind of notice, this is based off of the short trade, not the long trade. So it wasn't an exit off of that long trade that we just took right here. So yeah, it's really, really easy to use, and it's got this detailed commentary window. So when we, let's grab another trade. Let's grab this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead over here on the commentary window. If you kind of see down here where it says, you know, the Victory system is currently signaling a long opportunity. And I like this add-on a lot because he doesn't just gear the commentary window to stock traders. He also does it for options as well. So right here, you know, traders interested in taking advantage of this opportunity should look at buying the stock, while the option traders should consider intermediate term calls out 2 to 3 months before expiration, as these signals can last anywhere from a few days to 4 to 6 weeks. So you definitely want to adhere to the commentary window. It is something that is very, very detailed. And as you know, right here, actually, I didn't go into this. He actually has kind of an aggressive options trader commentary part of it as well, where he talks about the delta and out of the money and things like that. I do not trade options at all. So obviously, I'm not going to know a ton about that part, but I do trade stocks pretty aggressively. So that's just kind of a little overview and kind of how the charts look when using the Victory system. What I also, let's go, I'm going to go ahead and just close this chart for right now. No, we're not going to save changes. And let's go and pull up, let's pull up one of those cruise line stocks. And there is one thing that I want to show before I get too much into the webinar today. Go here, click on Victory. Okay, so I do actually want to save this now as my default template. So I'm going to change this to candles. Okay, so then I'm going to right click and choose apply, save as default template. I am going to replace the existing because the existing one was just a clean. And then what I have to do is I have to actually close all my charts and delete my smart charts. So we'll just do close all, no to all, and then we'll do file, delete smart charts, say yes. So now anytime I open up anything, it's going to open up with that default template. I also, if I'm opening up from here, I just want to make sure that I have either default smart charts. I'll just leave it down here. There we go. Okay, so let's go back to CCL, and then we're going to go ahead and just click on open chart. One quick thing on here, when you're opening your charts, you do actually want to make sure that you have 1250 records loaded, or some of the signals will not be accurate. So all you do, like it shows here, you just click on load default records and make sure it's at 1250. So then we'll go ahead and just click on open chart. And if there are any questions during the webinar, I do want to make sure that you know that you can ask those anytime if there's something that I may have missed. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right now, there are no questions coming in, but I have a question, and I'm sorry if you already said it. What is the blue line? Is that what moving average is that?
It's a 20 period. It's a 20 period simple moving average.
Oh, okay. And another question I have, because I know someone asked this the last time I saw a presentation about this. Do you know really what the difference is between Victory and Veracity, or why someone might want one to the other, or why they might want both, or?
They're completely different systems. I mean, you could definitely buy both of them. They would just complement each other, but they are completely different methods as far as like the technical analysis in the background. From what I remember Jeff telling me, they are still both based on momentum indicators. Which ones I don't know. I know the Veracity one uses a lot of the CCI indicators in the background, but as far as like the calculations on everything and the the total differences, I don't know, just because the code is closed.
Okay. All right. Anyway, there's no questions yet. I'd like to remind people, if you have any questions on YouTube, go ahead and chat them in, and I'll pass them over to David. Thanks, Dave.
Yep. Okay, so this is IBM. This is actually a really good example of how well this add-on works. So if you see right here, this is right as the pandemic hit back on February 21st of 2020, and it just had this massive bear trade. So it caught it right at the top, and you literally rode that thing all the way down. So you obviously would have made some pretty decent money there. But as you can see, it just really works very well. And this is a daily chart. I do get always the recommendation or a question to look at it on, let's say, a 10-minute chart. So if we come over here at 10 minutes, same thing right here, right in there. And now you're probably noticing there's these little dots on the chart. What those mean is a re-entry. So if you missed this initial signal and you did a scan and had found IBM, for example, this actually will tell you to get, if you missed, like I said, if you missed that trade, it'll tell you to get into the trade, or if you were already into the trade, then you could add to that position. So there's just a lot of really good ways to use this add-on. So with that being said, I actually kind of want to dive into the scanning functionality, and then we'll do a couple back tests as well. So to run your scans, you come over here again, click on the red P to open the Power Console, and then we'll click on Explore. And then I'm going to go ahead and have the Victory system loaded. And then what's really nice with the Explore is if you hover the mouse over the system, it actually gives you this detailed explanation. You can also, if you want to, if anything that has a explanation on it, you can actually go into the actual explanation editor as well, and instead of just hovering your mouse. So, and it tells you right here, you know, column A, when you see your results, is new long, column B are new shorts, column C are the slope and the closing price as well. So we'll go ahead and just run that scan. And I'm going to go ahead and just use the S&P 500. I am going to use online data because I haven't been able to update my data yet because the market, I don't get updates until about 3:30. So I'm going to go ahead and find the S&P 500. Oh, I forget where it is always. Right here. Okay. All right, so we'll choose the S&P 500. And then I've got the Victory system loaded. I've got 1,250 records to load for my scan. Let's go ahead and start exploration. The nice thing with the scans on this is it does automatically give you the results for everything. So you don't have to run separate scans for longs and shorts. And then if you want to look at like the closing price, whatever, it just lays it all there for you. And this is online data, and you can see how quick it runs even with online data. If it was offline data, then it would run even faster. It probably would only take a couple seconds, but still pretty quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and just maximize this window so everyone can see it pretty clearly. So what you can do within the results window is you can click on the column name and actually sort it by which ones had long positions and which ones had short positions. So in this case, I'm actually going to make a list of these ones because I don't want to open all those charts at the same time. And this is really nice what you can do. You could maybe add these to your watch list and maybe take a look at them tomorrow or when the market closes and you do get your data. If you're an end of day trader, then you can go back and kind of make sure all of those, and kind of check and see which ones you want to make a trade with. So then what I didn't actually explain how I did that. So all I did is just clicked on the first symbol, and then I hold down my shift key, click on the last one, right click on the chart, do add to custom list. In this case, I'm going to create a new one, and I'm just going to call it Victory. Go ahead and click create and OK. So now let's actually just go ahead and minimize that window. Let's go ahead and come back over to the chart. And under custom online data lists, I'm going to have that Victory one here. So what's really nice with this, and this is a feature inside of MetaStock, is I can expand this out. And then I just want to quickly spot check each chart individually and see if I want to take any of the trades. So go ahead and just click on open chart. So this one, we just barely got a signal to buy today. And then come over here and just kind of spot check check out the commentary window. We're currently in a long position. And then it just, like I said, just kind of goes through. You should get in if you're a stock trader into a long position. A lot of the times what I like to do when I get a signal is I'll wait for the high of that current candlestick to be above, or the candlestick to be above the current candlestick's high. So like the next candlestick that comes in, I want to make sure that it confirms the trade that way. So then I'll come over here and I'm going to actually change this to a intraday chart. This actually looks pretty good, but what I like to do a lot is go to a shorter time frame to see if it still is in a long position, and it still is. So that would have actually been a really good trade for you to take. So if you got in right here, maybe if you missed the trade by a couple candlesticks, you still got in. It kind of came down a little bit, but then you had a re-entry here, and then it went back up, did a little bit of a pullback, and it's also giving you another re-entry into the trade. And at this point, we would still be in that trade. So that's something that I like to do a lot. I mean, the daily charts are usually what I trade off of, but a lot of the times what I like to do is look at those shorter time frames, because then I can really see, okay, yeah, I got a long position entry, but I want to make sure that it still is long. Like, how did the trading day go for that particular symbol if I'm going to place a trade for tomorrow morning as an example? So then I'm just like, okay, well, I'll probably get in on that trade tomorrow, possibly. We'll see where it goes from there. But what's really nice here is down on the MetaStock platform, on the right corner, you have these right and left arrows. And if I just click on the right arrow once, it'll take me to the next chart in that list, which was right here. So now I'm on this Bank NY Mellon chart, and it keeps the same format. So I'm already zoomed in. I don't have to change the candlesticks. My default template's already set in motion. So this one would have been a good one to look at. Let's check it out on an intraday mode. I don't know why I always look at 10 minutes, but it just kind of paints the picture for me if I really want to get into the trade. Had I traded this, I could have done pretty well, but I probably would not take this one starting tomorrow morning. So, and there's also a hotkey, I believe, as well. I think it's just Alt left. Yep, it is. So now this one's gone to the next one in the list. Again, you did get the signal. So if you'd like to place that trade, if you want to kind of spot check with your broker, or if you have MetaStock real time, you can drop over to the 15-minute chart. And this one still would have been one that I'd probably get into for the next morning. So and then we just quickly do the next chart. A lot of people create lists and just quickly go click through them. And it's just a nice feature inside of MetaStock. So that one looks like a really good trade. It has done pretty well in the past. So, that's always what I like to look at too, is how well the add-on has done in the past for that particular symbol. And then you click on, so we'll just do Control Left again. So as you can see, it's a pretty easy system to understand and follow. But let's run some more scans. So actually what I want to do is go back to the other side of the market with the victory scan that I just ran, and look at the short positions. So these ones were all of my short trades. So I had quite a few short trades. And again, if you wanted to create your own list, I'll call it Victory Shorts. So I just hold the Shift key down, click on the first symbol in the list, and then click on the last one, right click, add to custom list, and we'll do create new. Now I could put these all in one list. I'm just doing it to organize myself a little better so I know which ones are shorts and longs. Obviously, the moment I open it up, I can see, but it's just an easier way. And maybe sometimes, maybe you're a short trader only and you don't really do long positions. I, on the other hand, only do long positions. I don't really do a lot of shorting. So that's kind of why I did the long trades first. So then we'll go back over to our chart. We'll open up that other list. If I can get that to close, and then we'll open this one up so you can see you have a lot more shorts than we did longs in this particular scenario. So then we'll just go ahead and click on open chart. And then we just kind of take a look. Okay, yeah, I've got a short trade opportunity. Let's go ahead and do a little bit shorter time frame, see how well it did today. I probably would take this trade starting tomorrow because it still is in the short position and it looks like a pretty decent stock. And the Victory has really called it almost perfectly on every trade that it's taken. Right here, let's actually use a little drawing tool here and zoom in a little better for everybody. I mean, check out this trade right here. This is one perfect. Right as soon as it changed into a bullish market, it went right into the green bars, telling you should be long. And then almost as soon as it hit that that peak on this particular one, you would have gotten out of the trade because you got a short signal that came in. But then, and again, right here, here's another great example. Oh, let me change this. Yeah, right here. Here's another great example of how well the Victory would have done for you on this particular trade. So yeah, just really an all-around great add-on. We got plenty of time right now. I'm going to dive into the back tester. So we'll go in and click on the Power Console again, and then I'm going to come over here and click on System Test. I'm going to do the S&P 500, and then we've got the Victory system that is selected. And one little small thing I always like to show everybody is within MetaStock, you actually have this favorites folder in the system tester and the Explorer, and you can actually add the Victory system test or the Explorer into there. So if you just click on it once, right click and do add to favorites, then you don't have to go down the big, huge list, even though we have a big list in the favorites folder as well, but it's not as big. You can just come down here and then click on the Victory. But at any rate, so we're going to run that system test. I'm still going to do the S&P 500. And then I just want to, yeah, I'm going to do it on local data because it does seem to, you know what, I'm not going to. I'm actually going to do it on online data because I want to show today's market and how well it did with the back test today. So let me go ahead and find the index constituents. Scroll down the list here. We got the S&P 500, so we'll go ahead and just click on that. I'm actually going to up this to 1250 because 500 is only 2 years. This way we'll get 5 years, so we can actually see how well it would have done on both the longs and shorts. So right up here, you can actually choose, like if I was doing this for my own personal trading, I would only do longs because I only trade long positions. But I'm sure we've got long and short traders out there, so we'll go ahead and just click on both. I'm going to use exchange date and time, meaning that it's going to start from today, and it'll do a back test for 5 years. Now over here on this trade options, you can actually go in and kind of tweak it a little bit to be a realistic prices with your own account. So let's say you have 100,000 or 50,000 that you want to be trading at any one time. You know, you can change it right there. That's actually how my account is set up. So so that's how I'm going to use that. Now, this part right here, you can change. I only like to trade about 15% of my available equity. So, and then you can also, there's a couple different options. You can do available equity or percent of available equity, transaction cost, number of units. Typically, if you're an options trader or a futures trader, this part doesn't necessarily matter too much. What you actually will do is you'll do a points only test. Same thing goes for usually Forex and options and futures traders will use that option. But since I'm a stock trader, I'm just going to use this. And then over here on the broker side of things, you can, this isn't necessarily relevant as much anymore just because most brokers nowadays are giving you commission free. But in the past, if you have a broker that does not give you commission free trades, then you could also test based on that. And you can do margin requirements and marginal trades as well. Over here on the trade execution, if you want to change the price to be the buy price on the open or the sell price on the close, etc., you just uncheck this and then you can go in and edit those out if you want. So just a couple different things you can do with the back tester. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on OK, and that will start our back test. Did it start it?
No, you have to say start system test, Dave.
Oh. No, I know. I was in the wrong area. Oh my gosh. Wow. Been a long day.
Hey, while that's running, we have a really shy crowd today. No one is really asking any questions. But I did notice using a variety of periodicities on the charts. Mm-hmm. Does Vince recommend this for...
He usually uses a daily chart. Yeah, he usually uses a daily chart. I mean, the question always gets asked, can you use it with any time frame? And that's why I mentioned that in the beginning of the webinar that you can. So that's just the only thing is that he usually uses a daily chart, but you can use any time frame. It doesn't necessarily matter. The only reason I went into that 10-minute chart is because I wanted to see how it did that particular day, if it still was in a long or a short position. And that's how I kind of make my decisions to place the trade or not. So
Okay.
that's the only reason.
Well, your system test is done. Pow.
Yep.
Fast.
I know. So then we'll come over here and inside the system test. I'm just going to make this a little bigger for everyone. And you can organize it by net profit. So that way I can kind of get a clear view of how well it did. I mean, you had a few losers on there, but what we're trying to do here is find out which ones work the best with this system. So then we can come over here and I'll just click on SVB Financial. And I just double click it and it'll give me all the readouts. So in this particular trade, I would have made $2,900. If I had done a bought and held it, I would have made $3,600. I don't know anybody that really does any buying and holding nowadays, unless you're really doing more longer term investing. So, and then you come over here to average profit was 650. How many total trades you took were 16. Which ones were long, shorts, average loss, so on and so forth. So it just really like lays out what you would have made. It's kind of a what if scenario is really what the backtester is meant to do. And then if you come over here on orders, it'll tell you which ones you did sold, buy to cover, buy, which ones were canceled, so on and so forth. And over here on this positions tab, you really kind of want to see things on the right side in the positive area. So this one's, it's kind of even. I mean, yeah, you had some losers, but you have a lot of winners as well. A lot of people like to look at the equity curve, basically mapping out how you got from point A to point B. So even though there were some losers on there, we started at $10,000 and it looks like we ended at about 12,000. So even though if you didn't have a lot of capital to trade, that still is a win in my opinion. So that's really kind of how the backtester is laid out. You can backtest it against anything you really want to. I mean, there really isn't much to it. And the nice thing with this too is it also has a very detailed manual that you get. I think it's about 83 pages. And that really helped me and kind of guide me through how to really use it. But I know it doesn't really look like much, but it is a very, very simple system to use. It did take a lot of work to program and create. So, I mean, it is something I definitely recommend checking out. But let's run some more scans. It's kind of my favorite part of the MetaStock software, but let's choose some different scans instead of just the S&P 500. So let's go ahead and use some local data. Actually, we're going to still do the online data. So I'm going to go ahead and actually pop open a different symbol. I've just been talking about stocks mostly. So let's go ahead and look at Forex. So we'll do the euro and then we'll do the pound. And you'll notice that I'm putting the equal sign. That's just the Reuters symbology for the Forex pairs. But yeah, brings up a good point. Let me actually delete those off. If I want to, I was actually in the Explorer list, not the chart. If I want to actually open up the Forex and I just want to click the ones that I want to open up, I can come over here to this Forex folder, and then I've got the major pairs. There's about 36 of them. And I can just go down that list and find which ones I want to open. So let's do the Canadian dollar, the Aussie dollar, the franc, and the euro. And then I'll just click on open chart, leaving all my settings the same. But instead of daily, I'm actually going to change this to hourly. Then you click on open chart. I'm going to delete off some of them. So I'm going to take off the stock ones that we were looking at before. And then this way I can make it a little cleaner. Okay, so now I can come up here and organize these a little better. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so this is on a hourly chart with the Forex pairs. So this one particularly is one I kind of wanted to look at. So let's pop this open in the larger window. So this is the euro on an hourly chart. So as you can tell how well this system did. I mean, you got in right here. This would have been on February 5th. So had we taken this trade, we would have gotten in here. We would have had a re-entry right here, and then we would have gotten out. But then you had a little bit of a pullback here. I mean, like I'm kind of like to tell everybody, there's never a perfect system. So you did lose a little bit of money in this area, but then you got back in right here. And you rode that thing all the way up to the top. So that right there is a really good example of how well this system called those trades. And I like to show the Forex pairs because a lot of traders out there trade both stocks and Forex. So that's something that I always like to show, that it just doesn't only work with stocks, it works with all markets. So this is the Canadian dollar. Had a lot of really long bearish trade here. So had you gotten in and done some shorting on the Forex here, you would have gotten in right here, and then you would have rode that down, and you could have had a re-entry there. Let's say if you missed this initial signal, and then all the way down, and then that's where you would actually gotten out of the trade, right where it switched over to a buy signal. And then it did give you a little bit of a buy signal, but not too much. You could have possibly lost a little bit of money there. But this particular symbol is really good for shorting in the Forex market. And right now, obviously the Forex market is open 24 hours. We've just recently gotten a buy signal here based on the victory. And as you can tell, it just barely switched from a bearish to bullish. So, or bullish bearish, sorry. And that is something that's really, really nice to see, because I mean, it just literally is, it's not perfect, but it is pretty dang close. So let's go ahead and just close out of that one. Here's another good example. You know, right here is where you got into the trade, rode that thing all the way up. You had a couple re-entries, but yeah, you rode it clear up to the top right here. Once the sell signal came in, you would have gotten out of that, because now the market has just turned. And you're only in, you know, you could have gotten in here, made a little bit of money. If you have a pretty sizable account with Forex, you could have done really well. But again, right here, I mean, this add-on is just literally, it's a really good add-on. So let's go ahead and just change markets. Let's look at a futures symbol. A lot of people like to trade the E-mini S&P. So we'll go ahead and open that up. Oops. Okay, so this is going to be on an hourly chart. Let's actually take a look on a daily chart, how well it would have done. So this particular last trade, this would have been in on the 2nd, and right now we're still into the trade. So Victory called it right as the market changed direction, got you in on a buy, and you're still into that trade right now. Haven't gotten a re-entry or anything like that, or any indication of the market changing direction, but right now you're still in that trade. And this very last one right here, this was pretty dang close, pretty good. I should say more than pretty good. It was a really good, perfect setup. So, and again, this add-on took months to program and create. So there was a lot of work that went into it. And it is a very successful system. A lot of people are doing really well with it. I've been using it with my trading as well for quite a while. I think it's been since it came out, about 4 months, and it's done really well too. So let's actually switch this over to a hourly. Let's do 10-minute, see how well it did. Because a lot of these guys that trade the E-minis, most of them are going to be trading on these shorter time frames. And you can see how well right here, how well this did. So this is today, actually. And we would have gotten in right around 2 p.m. So the market actually kind of has closed for a little bit now. And right now you're still in that trade. So you're getting really, really good signals, signals going to be a lot of really good confidence in the market. And like I said in the beginning of the webinar, it doesn't matter what you trade. The system is very good at calling those large trades, even the short ones. If you're a really fast day trader, you know, you could have made some money right here or even right here. But what it's really good for is calling those big, large moves like this one right here. This is a really good example. Got in right at 9 a.m. and rode that all the way down to the close of the excuse me, the U.S. market. And then now that it's in the after hours session, got you right in as the market reopened back up for the E-mini S&P. Let's do the NASDAQ. A lot of people like to trade the Qs, or sorry, the NQ. Okay, yeah, so this one still, again, we are on a 10-minute chart. Still, again, great position right here, great entry. Rode that all the way up to the top. Had a little bit of a re-entry right here. Probably wouldn't have been the best one to get in my opinion. I mean, if you had already had that big, long trade right here, I probably wouldn't have gotten into that, but some people may want to. But all, again, you can just see how well it's calling all of these trades, and it is just a very, very good add-on. I can't reiterate that enough. I know I'm probably sounding like a broken record at this point. But I like to show all different markets. So let's say you're a futures trader and you like to trade oil. So the symbol CL, C1. and we are still on a hourly. I'm actually going to change that even to a shorter time frame. Let's do a 5-minute and see how well it does in that area. So really good trade right here. This last trade that we took today, 8:45 a.m. got you into the trade, and you wrote it, had a little bit of a loss, and then you got out right at 10:05. So that was a pretty quick trade. You're really in for maybe an hour. Yeah, about an hour, hour and a half. Here's a really good one. Maybe you're doing some shorting, and that's kind of the way you like to trade the NASDAQ, or sorry, the oil market. But again, right here, here's a perfect move. I mean, I should say, I can't use the word perfect, but it's a really, really good setup. You know, we got in right here at 1:45 p.m., rode that all the way down until the market changed. So you would have been in it right at 4 p.m. And yeah, so I'm just reiterating how well this is. Greg, are there any symbols? I know everyone's kind of being really pretty quiet, but are there any symbols anybody wants me to open or to look at?
There are not. You can look at my favorite, which is Royal Caribbean.
RCO?
RCL. Why not? No one else is chiming in.
Yeah.
Jess says hello from India, and Vincenzo said hello from Italy earlier, but yeah,
now they've gone silent.
They must be mesmerized by your marketing expertise.
By my voice? Oh, I'm sure that's probably what it is, Greg. So yeah, look, dude, you should be up in the positive with your account, right?
I am. Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm in this position, so.
Yeah, but actually, right here, even though if you had done a short trade with it, right here, it called that drop right perfect. So again, I can't use the word perfect, but very close to perfect. So you would have done some really good trades if you're kind of an in and out guy, or if you're a long-term investor like Greg is here, you would definitely be up and up. It was a very good trade, and it's a great system to use. Let's actually look at another travel stock. I was going to do that, but I slipped my mind and didn't.
Well, I should mention I'm not normally a long-term trader, but and I got in right at the turn at perfect time. But my wife is convinced that it's not technical analysis. My wife is just convinced we need to stay in that, so I'm just staying in it. It's fun.
Yeah, all right. No, that's cool. Well, if you were trading it, not as a long term, if you still were going in and out, it would have done pretty well for you.
Yeah.
So this is another one.
Even as position traders, it's been good, really.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Carnival Cruise Line. So we can just kind of take a look at like the last few trades. Our last signal that we just got was just a few days ago, got in, and it's come down a little bit, but you are still in the green, depending on well, not depending. I mean, you still are in the positive area, even though you have had a little bit of a pullback there. Here's another great example. This one is where I would say where it doesn't seem so perfect, but you are in the up and up now. So you got in initially, and then it had a big drop down here. You had a re-entry signal, and then that's when it turned, so your account would have become positive at that point. But it isn't a perfect system. If you like to use different indicators with your particular type of trading, then I definitely recommend still using those. But this Victory system is a very good system to be using with your trading. So we've only got about 15 minutes left. I'm going to hop back over into the PowerPoint because I do want to go over the price, and for people that maybe want to use MetaStock for their trading. There's just a little box. So let's kind of break everything down. You got expert alerts. These alerts are automatically put on the chart. You don't have to do anything. All you've got to do is put the expert or the template on the particular symbol, and it will give you everything that I've showed you today. It's got a detailed commentary breakdown for both stock and options trader, if you're an aggressive trader or if you're more of a longer term trader. You've got market scanning, as you notice. You've got back tests as well. That way you can really kind of get a what if scenario with your trading before you use this for an act with real money. And then the last thing, I just want to go over the cost. So this is a quite expensive add-on, but we are running some promotions right now. So normal cost is $19.97. We're actually doing an intro offer right now for $9.95. For anybody that's a MetaStock 17 user, you can pay just a one-time cost of $9.95. And if you are using our end of day and maybe want to try this out with our real-time program, that $9.95 will also give you 3 months of real-time data for the price of one. The only thing, just to note on that does not include any live exchange fees. Now, if you're just a Forex only trader, the cost on there will still be $9.95, but you don't have to pay any exchange fees because the Forex data comes directly from the bank. So as an example, since I'm a stock trader, I would pay $9.95 and I would get 3 months of MetaStock real time for the price of one. I would also have to pay the exchange fees, which is $10.71. Those fees can range anywhere from a few dollars per month up to $100. It really just depends. Our futures traders pay quite a bit of money for those exchange fees. But stock traders are, maybe at the most, stock and options, you're going to pay $15 a month. And like I say right on here, it does include MetaStock real time. Or if you're a new customer and haven't ever used MetaStock before, if you want to try out MetaStock real time or the DC 3-for-1. So the way that works, just to be clear, you pay for the first month and the next 2 months are going to be free. And then after those 3 months, so let's say I signed up today. So I'd have all the way through May 11th to use MetaStock with the Victory system. And then I can decide whether I want to continue with it, which I'm pretty sure you will. You'll find that it does help you make quite a bit of money with what the examples I've shown you today. And then on top of this, what we're going to do for anybody that is buying Victory right now, you will get a live bootcamp class. Basically, it'll be by Vince Vora, and he's going to go over in a lot more detail how to use this system successfully. There's 2 classes. They're both going to be based on the same thing, but in case you missed the one that's on February 18th, you can join the one that's on March 4th. So, and then the last thing I want to reiterate is the Victory system does have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy with it, or maybe it's just not what you're looking for, you can always cancel MetaStock and get your money back within 30 days for the Victory system, not for the MetaStock subscription, because those are not refundable. So just to wrap everything up, I do appreciate those that have watched us on YouTube or on the GoTo site. But if you do want to order this, my direct telephone number is there at the bottom. You will also get a recording if you joined us on YouTube or GoToWebinar. But again, right there is my contact, 800-882-3034. If you have any questions regarding MetaStock, if you're already a MetaStock 17 user and want to purchase this system to your for your tools, if you want to try out MetaStock with the Victory system, I'm more than happy to answer any questions regarding MetaStock or this add-on as well. But again, I do appreciate everybody and your time for viewing this webinar. Again, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Well, thanks, Dave, so much. That was a great presentation.
Great.
No more questions. Krister said hello from Sweden. I didn't see any either.
Yeah,
I didn't see any on the GoToWebinar site either. But I did want to remind folks, thanks again for coming today, and thanks, David, for the presentation. Do join us tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Time for our weekly market recap. We do that most every Friday at 4:30 Eastern. And tomorrow's guest is Anne-Marie Bain. And,
that'll be
it should be great. All right, thanks again, Dave. Great. Thanks everyone for joining, and have a great day.